and let's get this thing going. You guys ready? I'm going to shrink myself down. Bryan Kohberger has a little hearing today. Or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know, but here we go.
This is...
Oh, yesterday was Sunday. It was definitely today.
State v. Kohberger. I want to go over the appearances this afternoon.
Accused Idaho 4 killer Bryan Kohberger in front of a new judge in a new city. We're on the ground in Boise,
Yeah, because they moved it. Remember, y'all?
Idaho, with the latest on what happened in court and how Kohberger's life behind bars has changed for this special Law and Crime and News Nation collaboration of Enton across America. Hey everybody, it's Bryan. I'm sitting here outside the Ada County Courthouse in downtown Boise, Idaho.
Oh, hell.
It's pretty hot out here today. It's interesting. Last time I was here was for the Lori Vallow trial. Spent a lot of time in Boise for that. I never really imagined that I would then be here for...
Oh, no, wait. Does that, Stella, thank you. Does that mean that the audio is going to be the potato audio? Because the last time from Idaho, wasn't it absolutely horrible?
Bryan
God, I hope not.
Kohberger's hearings, but here we are. You remember, obviously, you know the story behind Bryan Kohberger, accused of killing the 4 University of Idaho students in Moscow, Idaho, which is about 5 hours away from here in Latah County, Idaho, opposite side of the state. The change of venue was granted, so they've now moved the case here to Ada County in Boise, and this was the first hearing here in Ada County that just wrapped up a little while ago. So I wanted to make the trip out here to Boise to see what it would be like, because really, in a sense, it's almost like, not like the whole thing is starting over again, but kind of a new beginning in a way now that we're here in Boise. We had Judge was the judge over the case. Yes, his last name is Judge, so it was Judge. He was over the case back in Latah County, and he is now off the case, and there is a new judge. I had to write down his name because I almost forgot it, because this is the first time. Judge Steve Hippler. So Judge Steve Hippler will now preside over the case. This was our first time seeing him in action. This hearing just ended. He seems to be sort of no nonsense, I would say. Judge. It definitely had more of a small town vibe there in Moscow. He's a super nice guy. I saw him in the parking lot a couple times and he would always say hi, but the prosecutor knew him forever. Again, small town vibe in Moscow, but Judge Hippler here in Boise.
Oh, hell.
He seems much more sort of no nonsense, kind of a little more of a big city vibe, wants to move things along faster, said he's going to hear motions more quickly. He immediately when the hearing started said, look, I expect everybody to get along. I want this to be no nonsense. So sort of set the tone that way. The first thing I noticed when Bryan Kohberger came in was, first of all, he was handcuffed behind his back, which is not something that I have seen in Moscow. I don't think that they did that in Moscow. I don't ever remember him being handcuffed behind the back when he was brought into the courtroom. So,
oh, hell. They're like, oh, we ain't taking any chances. Oh, at least it wasn't Vegas. Remember that dude that jumped over the damn bench at the judge? He was back on trial for that. He was already got in trouble for what he did, that he was there in the first place. And then he had to face trial for when he jumped over. And I didn't realize, but that judge, he like slammed her head into the marble wall behind her and everything. That was crazy as hell. You guys remember that? And yes, we are live on YouTube also, you guys. TikTok, if you want to see the video, if you want to rewatch the video, if you just want to become part of the YouTube family, just search The Mystery Project. You'll find the channel. Subscribe. We're live there right now as well. We're live on X. We're live on Rumble. We're live on YouTube. And we're live on TikTok all at the same time. So, that's what I do for you.
That was new. He was also in a suit and tie, which was interesting because he was always in a suit and tie in Latah County. But the defense had to file another motion here in Ada County. Sorry, there's a motorcycle going by. Had to file another motion here in Ada County.
And don't worry, y'all. You didn't hear it, and you didn't hear the wind because I enhanced all the audio. I pulled out all the background noise, so all you hear is the voice. You're welcome.
Asking.
I'm on one tonight. Sorry, y'all.
The judge to
YouTube, halfway to 100 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. TikTok, tap the screen like crazy.
Allow him to wear what they call street.
The YouTube page is The Mystery Project. It should be pinned on the screen.
Clothes, the suit and tie, not the jail jumpsuit. And his defense claims that he should get to wear the suit and tie because they feel when he's in the orange jail jumpsuit and then it's televised, that potential jurors in the community see that and that it's a bias, that they assume he's guilty because he's in the jail jumpsuit. So they asked, could he wear the suit and tie, which the judge allowed for this first hearing. So he came in suit and tie. But the judge was very clear that he was allowing it this time, but he is going to sort of do it on a case-by-case basis. He wants to talk to the deputies and security and see if it's an issue. So that was an interesting part of the hearing. I want you to listen to what the judge said about that.
I did issue an order yesterday permitting him to appear in civilian clothes for this hearing only.
For this hearing only? Whoa, Stella, thank you.
That is a matter in terms of future hearings that we will take up in a closed hearing the day of, but in advance of whatever our next hearing date will be. My intention will be that Mr. Kohberger will not
Thank you, Stella.
be present for that hearing.
Thank you, Michelle.
Because part of what we will be discussing are security measures. And I expect to hear from the transport deputies and the bailiffs regarding security issues that they want to address or that I have questions for them about, so that I can make an appropriate ruling in terms of his appearance here, but weighing that not just against, of course, his rights, but also against the needs of security in this case.
So again, it's going to be sort of case by case. We'll
Oh, hell.
see if next time he's in the suit and tie or if he's in the orange jumpsuit. Also, another big part of the hearing today had to do with the trial date. You know, the previous judge set the date for June 2025. They picked a summer trial date because they were concerned about school being in session in Moscow, Idaho, where it's a college town. They felt like in the summer it would be slower in town and the kids wouldn't be around, and that would be a better time to do the
Then it
trial.
got moved.
So it was set for June 2025. Well, the new judge here in Boise
Are they going to move it up, y'all?
says that he thinks summer is not a good time because he thinks they're going to have a hard time picking
Because he's got plans. He's like, I've got a safari I need to go to in June. I'm not trying to listen to this crap.
jurors in the summer. He just said, you know, basically what juror wants to give up their summer for a 2 or 3 month long murder trial. So they are looking at other options now for dates. I want you to hear that part of the hearing because it's important because it could, in fact, mean that they're going to change when the trial actually happens. Take a listen.
Oh, hell.
So my concern, because this trial is currently set to begin June 2nd and end approximately August 31st, is having it set to run the entire course of the summer. I think we will find it to be difficult on jurors in particular.
Yeah, for real, huh? Wendy, thank you.
Jurors who may have children who are out of school in terms of being able to spend time, go on vacations with them, et cetera. That's one concern. The second concern is with school that typically starts in mid to late August, and jurors or parents who may have kids going off to school, the timing of that through August. And that's my primary concern about that time frame. I had two proposals. One was to start the trial in the evidence portion of the trial the first week of May. And the other would be to start the evidence in early September.
There were no victims' families that I noticed
hell.
in court for this first hearing in Boise. You know, it's going to be difficult for some of them to get here. For example, the Gonzalez family, Kaylee Gonzalez, one of the victims, her parents, they live in Coeur d'Alene, which is about an hour from Moscow, but it's, you know, again, 5-hour drive or so now to Boise. They didn't want it to be moved here for that reason because they like to attend most of the hearings, and now it's a real hardship for them. They actually just created a GoFundMe. You can see here raising money because, you know, they both got, I mean, I've gotten to know them pretty well, interviewing them. Steve and Christy are Kaylee's parents, and, you know, they got
Somebody needs to just charter them a plane, fly from Coeur d'Alene down to Boise every day.
jobs and they work hard, and they're going to have to take like leaves from their jobs when this trial happens and probably rent a house here. And it's going to be like a 3-month ordeal. So they've created a GoFundMe to help with that. It's sad for the families. There's no real that we know of. It's not like the government helps them out in terms of, like a legal fund or something to help them travel back and forth and that kind of thing. So they've created a GoFundMe. And they plan to try to be here for most of the hearings and for.
Yeah, there's enough people out there. I mean, they were raising $50,000 and they were like $800 shy,
especially for the trial.
So they'll definitely get it
whenever that ends up happening. Also, I want to point out, so Bryan Kohberger is obviously now in jail here in Ada County, which is very different from Latah County. Latah County, where he was, it was just a small jail, like 38 cells underneath the courtroom. So it was that little courthouse, and then the jail was right underneath, and it was so interesting. They would just bring Bryan Kohberger right up the stairs into the courtroom. He never went outside or anything. Well, now he's been moved here to Ada County, to Boise, which is obviously
that's crazy.
It's a city. They've got a big jail complex. It has about 1,000 beds, a little more than 1,000, different wings, high security. And we've learned a little more about what it's like for Bryan Kohberger here now in Ada County. It's much different than Moscow.
I bet.
In terms of what the jail is like. And we actually talked to a local bondsman who knows the jail very, very well, has sources inside the jail. This is what he had to say.
He's housed by himself. Unlike the other facility he was in North Idaho, Latah County, he does not have a TV. He's still let out the same hour a day. Phones, TV, but he doesn't have access to the TV constantly like he did up there.
Oh, yeah, because he had his own TV.
He did.
Yeah, so he doesn't have his own TV.
No.
Yeah. Interesting. So what can he do to pass the time?
There's not much to do. Being locked down 23 hours a day. He just has to sit there. He looks forward to that 1 hour.
Pray.
I know when he was in Latah County, he loved watching himself on TV constantly. Some in the jail say he was infatuated with it.
Oh, hell. What do y'all think, by the way? Thumbs up in the chat. Do you think he's guilty? Thumbs down. You think, no, something ain't right here. What do y'all think?
But he doesn't have that luxury in Ada County. I don't believe he has access to any of the other inmates. I've heard that in Latah County he did. Not housed with anybody else, but they would come in passing, and he doesn't have that in Ada County. I don't think anybody's really had contact with him. There's more room in that jail to move somebody around without having contact needed with other inmates.
Yeah, because we know in Latah he could hear other people or they would walk by. So that's not the case here.
No.
For him, do you think he would rather be here in Ada County in the jail or in Latah County?
I think he kind of got a shock coming here. He probably didn't realize how big of a facility it is, spending over 500 days in Latah County, where it houses 38 inmates. I think he would probably rather go back there and have his TV.
It's interesting to think about it, I mean,
that is crazy as hell.
Kohberger may have preferred being in Moscow, where he had his own TV, and, it was a little more of a small town vibe. Here he's apparently extremely isolated in this cell by himself there for 23 hours a day. I wanted to give you an idea of what the jail looks like. I went out there for our show on News Nation Banfield. I went out there and then also sort of showed the drive and where he comes into the courthouse here, which again, much different than what he was experiencing in Moscow. Take a look at this. This is the Ada County Jail in Boise, Idaho. It's a massive complex.
Whoa.
Takes up a couple of blocks out here. Big difference from the jail where Bryan Kohberger was in Latah County, Idaho, in Moscow. Remember that little jail underneath the courthouse where they kept him? Well, this place is massive here in Boise. More than 1,000 inmate beds. There's 6 different dorm units, we're told. 4 for men, 2 for women, and they've even got 88 specialized beds for maximum security prisoners.
Dang.
In Moscow, when they would bring Kohberger up to court, it was pretty easy, just up a flight of stairs into the courtroom. But here in Boise, he has quite a bit of drive from the jail to the courthouse. It's about 3.5 miles, 10 to 15 minutes right through town. And this is where Kohberger will go into the courthouse. You can see it's a much bigger courthouse than in Moscow, Idaho. They've got this back entrance. It says restricted area. It's gated. They take the vans from the jail right down that driveway.
Angie, right? Yeah, chilling with Daybell.
Into that garage, and Kohberger will go inside without anyone even noticing. So again, similarities for me to the whole Lori Vallow trial. Pretty much the same thing would happen in terms of them transporting Lori Vallow here every day from the same jail, and then they would bring her in the back, and you can never really get a glimpse of her. So I guess that'll be the same with Kohberger when the trial starts. You know, in the media, we like when we can get video and stuff, and it doesn't look like there'll be many opportunities to do that here in Ada County. They do still have the live stream going of the court hearings and the trial, so that's the same as it was in Latah County. So the court controls it, so it's not zoomed in or anything, but we're able to hear and see a little bit of what's going on. They're going to live stream all the hearings. And the other thing the judge made clear is that the gag order, the non-dissemination order they call it, but we call it a gag order, will remain in place. And he said it will be strictly enforced religiously. I think that's the quote he used. So it still aren't going to get a lot of information besides what's said in court.
Okay, thank you.
Lawyers not really allowed to talk, victims' family, lawyers, that kind of thing. The gag order will stay in place. So we'll continue to cover the trial, and even though now it's here in Boise, and we'll wait to see sort of what happens next in this long, drawn-out legal process. All right, see you guys later.